guys, what's up? It's me, MJ Fangirl, and today we're going to be reacting to a fun, interesting, educational, informative Michael Jackson interview. Yes, this is like one of the interviews that I feel like I have always wanted to do because it's just so insightful and it's so honest from Michael Jackson, looking back in retrospect at his own career. He talks about Thriller, he talks about Billie Jean, he talks about Beat It, he talks about all of the really important parts of his career in terms of music videos. So I really wanted to take out the time to do a reaction to this with you guys. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. It's gonna be great, you guys. I know that I'm gonna learn so much from this because I remember watching this years back. I did. So anyway, stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. You are now watching MJ Fangirl TV.
Girl, you got to we can touch the sky like
All right, you guys, let's get into this interview. Comparison shots at the end of the video. All right, we'll see.
The idea is to take it a step forward and to innovate, or else why am I doing it? I don't want to be just another can in the assembly line. You know, I want to, create, do something that's totally different and unusual. It's like, I hate to say it, but it's like what all songwriters say. It's true. It's like you don't write the song writes itself, and it just kind of falls into your lap. It's like when you say, gee whiz, did I do this? It was that sort of thing.
Is video the same, or is video more?
Kind of. I think so. It's a cousin of the same creative, intent. I think. You let it create itself, really. I know I do. In my opinion, it has to be completely entertaining and have a sense of, a linear sense of continuity. As far as, I like having a beginning and a middle and an ending, so you could follow a story, and not just be a collage of images, and sometimes that's great too. It depends on what the director has a visionary, what he sees really.
How much do you put, how much faith or trust, or how much of it do you let the director decide? Are you very involved in concepts?
Oh, I'm very much involved in complete making and creating of the piece. I mean, it has to be from, my soul. Usually, it's an interpretation of music, so I would think so, yes.
But you've not heard a radio next to it, so just take a long time to start cranking it.
Oh, it's kind of hard to hear the questions, right?
I love working with John Landis because we laugh a lot. We're never serious on the set. So it's fun working with John because I get to throw water balloons and stink bombs and everything at him. That's a ritual for me. After we wrap on each video, I throw a lot of stuff at everybody. So that's fun.
That's fun.
I met John right before doing Thriller. I called him on the phone. I think he was in London. And I told him what I wanted to do and what the concept was. And we came together and we wrote it. The two of us.
Thriller. I'm having Thriller shirt on right now, so I'm kind of like.
Is being a movie or a music video? It seems it's more of a film.
No, my idea was to make a short film, with conversation in the beginning and make that kind of linear and to bookend it. Conversation at the end. But John and I, because he's such a fun guy, I really love working with him. We just sat together and chemistry just started working, He's fun.
Do you remember, were you a fan of horror movies in particular?
Believe it or not, I'm afraid to watch scary movies.
Me too, Michael.
I don't quite like to watch them very much. I never thought I'd be involved in making that sort of theme, but I am.
Well, the two movies that you remember is the werewolf scenario at the beginning. Have you seen those movies?
No. I did see An American Werewolf in London, which I thought was really fun. I haven't seen the classic werewolf one.
When was the last time you saw Thriller?
Gee, I don't know. I thought about watching it again, but I don't, because I don't want to scare the children.
That's so cute.
My idea, I always try to be a pioneer and an innovator in whatever I do. And my dream was to always make short little films, because I'm a big fan of the Three Stooges. And I love watching Curly, who I think is wonderful. And they make these like 15-minute shorts. And I said, gee, I would love to do something like that one day. And, with linear stories. So this was my opportunity.
Wow.
Rod Temperton.
I never knew that was his like inspiration behind short films,
That was one of the first raps, actually. He thought of having a rap at the end of it. And we called it Vincent Price, and he says yes right away. So Rod was taking the taxi from his hotel. He's a German fellow. From his hotel to the studio, and he wrote it within transit. He did a great job.
Did you ever meet Vincent?
Yes, I've known Vincent Price since I was 11. And first time I met him, it was at NBC Studios. And he said, come here, like that, in his kind of gruesome voice. And I started to cry, because I thought he was serious. Because I used to see him like turning the channels, and I was kind of, I think he was in The Raven and the House of Wax or something. He scared me.
And was there any talk of trying to get him actually in the video?
Pardon?
Did you actually get Vincent physically in the video?
No, there was never any talk about that.
And some of the dialogue, we were watching the video earlier, and do you remember any of the dialogue from the scenes, anything that was outside of you from the film at the beginning?
From Thriller?
Is there a favorite line, a favorite part of it?
Oh, I like the scene when I'm looking at when the girl, all these zombies are coming toward us, and she thinks she's safe with me, being her boyfriend, and she looks over to me and I become one, and then we do that famous pull in and pull out.
Oh yeah.
The Hitchcock move. And I love that moment, that I become one. It's fun. It was a delicate thing to work on, because I remember my original approach was, how do you make zombies and monsters dance without it being comical?
Right.
So I said we have to do just the right kind of movement, so it doesn't become something that you laugh at, but it just has to be, take it to another level. So I got in a room with Michael Peters, and he and I together kind of imagined how these zombies should move by making faces in the mirror, and I used to come to rehearsal sometime with monster makeup on, and
Wow.
I love doing that. So he and I collaborated, and we both choreographed.
I love hearing stuff like this. Is it just me, you guys? Like, this is so...
That kind of thing. Yeah. Going to this kind of jazzy stuff.
Ah!
Kind of gruesome things like that, Not too much ballet or whatever.
Right, because that's stiff movement to the length of the time that the video was pretty much over. Were you worried at all?
No, because I knew if we did something with substance and content that people would watch, and it had great entertainment
Yeah.
value, and if it held you, I knew we'd be okay. And that was the idea,
When you made the video, when you were making it, when you finished it, did you realize just what you'd accomplished, that this was going to be this groundbreaking?
When I was in the editing room, I knew I liked it. I enjoyed it. It has to be satisfying for me. And I enjoyed what I had seen when we finished it. So I was happy with it. Never totally satisfied, but I was happy.
What about it would you have changed if you could?
I was happy with certain cuts and angles and timing.
That makes
Those
sense.
sort of things.
You're almost correct.
Yeah, it has to be just right.
Perfectionist.
It makes me think of the song and working with Quincy Jones and all those wonderful people. I love Quincy. He's a wonderful guy to work with. And I remember him telling me to write a song that I would enjoy, with an edge. So when I remember wrote Beat It, I don't know why, but
Wow.
I did. About, two gangs coming together. And the song is so self-explanatory that it's so easy to make the short film. And I had seen, I think it was a McDonald's commercial. And I said, God, I like the rhythm and the cut of this commercial. So I want this director for this piece. So I reached out to him.
Wow.
So that was
A McDonald's commercial inspired Beat It? My mind is blown.
Yeah, Bob was cool.
it's awesome to realize that he came from that world.
Yes, he started in commercials.
Wow.
Certainly gave him a big opportunity.
Yeah.
there was time, there was the time that MTV wasn't quite, with the video and stuff. Was it Billie Jean or Beat It because he broke the ratio?
I think it was Billie Jean, because that came before Beat It. It was between Mickey Schulhoff and MTV. I don't know the whole story.
But still, how did that make you feel to finally to be the one to be the first?
Makes me feel happy. It really does. That's good.
Billie Jean is kind of different because it really doesn't have anything to do with the lyrics or the video. It's kind of a whole different thing. What kind of come up with that?
It's kind of surreal and it's different. I didn't come up with that concept. It was, I think, a British fellow. Steve Barron. He just had all these different and I thought he had wonderful ideas, but I let him go with it. The only part I wrote in the piece was I said, I just want a section. I said, give me a section where I could dance a little. He said, no dancing in the whole piece. He said, no dancing. I said, just give me one little moment. So that whole section, we see this long street and this billboard of these two girls. One of them is Billie Jean and I'm dancing. That's the only part I contributed.
Wow.
I wanted to do a dance number where I told my sister Janet, I said, you remind me of a Black Panther. I said, why don't you do something where you transform into a Black Panther and you transform into yourself again? She said, I like it, but she didn't go with it. Because the two of us, we always think alike. So I told her I was going to do it, so I did it. And in the dance, I said, I want to do a dance number where I can just let out my frustration about, injustice and prejudice and racism and bigotry.
Yeah.
And within the dance, I just became upset and I let go, and that's what happened. And I think at the time, people were concerned about the violent contempt of the piece, but it's easy to look at. It's simple.
Wow, that was so cool, you guys. Okay, so this is, I think we're looking at the restoration process from this YouTuber that he did. Lectus is his name. It looks like he did this just in April. So shout out to Lectus for doing this for us. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna do a little bit of commentary, but before I do that, I wanna show you guys a special guest who's right here. Say hi, Kitty. Kitty, say hi. Say hi to the camera. Say hi to the camera. Oh gosh, oh, he looks like Thriller. Hey! All right, you guys, so that was the reaction. You guys, so many things I want to say. All right, so let me just start off by saying, I love how Michael really took the time out to explain things and share his opinions about some of the work that he did in the past. I thought it was really, really insightful that the interviewer asked him questions that I feel like a lot of interviewers did not do when it came to his own music and his own work. He was really well researched, even when Michael didn't know the directors' names and the people's names, he came through and provided it for Michael, which is so funny because you would think hey, how come you wouldn't remember that? But Michael has worked with so many collaborators and so many people over the course of his, 40-year career, or at that point, it was 30 years, right? Because that was in 1999. So yeah, since the 70s. At that point, he'd been collaborating and working with people for 30 years. So you guys, there's a lot of names and things to remember. So I thought it was just interesting to see that. The first thing I wanted to talk about really was Thriller. I thought it was so cute that he mentioned that he hadn't seen Thriller in a while because he didn't want to scare the children. I actually just saw an interview with Prince Jackson not too long ago. I think it was on Fox Soul. So if you guys want to check that out, that's on the Fox Soul YouTube channel with Prince. And Prince talks about the fact that Michael used to scare them with Thriller, and he used to say oh, you better not be with me on a full moon at night, so that the kids would be a little spooked out. So he said that was a really fun memory that he had of his dad. So yeah, that was cute. I also really loved to hear about his original concept and thought for Thriller. He said that he wanted conversation in the beginning and in the end, kind of to bookend the story in the middle, which is interesting because it kind of I guess it is a little like that. It kind of like loops back around, but there's not as much like conversation. I think the only thing that is said in the end of the video after like the music and the dancing and all that is, come on, I'll take you home. What's the problem? I can't forget about that. What's the problem? Come on, I'll take you home. And that's literally it. So I think that that was way more impactful in the end, and it was really cool just to hear that Michael like kind of like worked with John Landis to like, you know, make that concept play out and make it make sense. I also loved hearing about how he worked with Michael Peters on the dancing, and it's so true. Like now you think about Thriller and you have people doing Thriller hard in the streets, like during like what do they call those, flash mobs, and like just during Halloween. Like no one is doing Thriller in a funny way. Like they do it and they take it seriously. They take their jobs as a zombie seriously, and that's freaking hard to do. Can you imagine, like, as Michael Jackson, right? Pop star, R&B star, creating this music video, which really no one had really done something to that level of a short film. Then having people like take you seriously, you're gonna break out and dance as a zombie, we're supposed to take you seriously. But we do, because he did an excellent job. And then Michael Peters like just like worked that out so perfectly, and it was just funny to hear him talk about that like as something that they kind of had to really think about, because as a fan I would have never like even thought about that, because Thriller is just Thriller to me. So really interesting to hear him talk about the creative process of that. Interesting to hear him talk about Billie Jean and how the director, I believe it was, oh, I don't remember who, but they mentioned it. The director of Billie Jean didn't want him to dance. Like, how can you have a Michael Jackson like song and not expect? But you know what? This is all, I think, the video, I'm assuming you guys, that the video was done prior to Motown 25. Even if it was done afterwards and I'm wrong, it just, because to me, like, Motown 25 was kind of like signal to Earth and everyone on it that Michael Jackson was an immaculate performer and entertainer. And so I can't imagine that like the concept of the Billie Jean video would have come about after that, because that would make no sense, right? Like people would have had to have known, like, okay, this is weird because we just saw Michael Jackson kill it on the stage and now he's not even dancing at all. Like, so I just think that it's interesting how that series of events played out. Also really interesting that he was like, yeah, the only part of that I wrote was that. And a lot of times we tend to think of Michael as like this one-man machine and he's doing everything and he's conceptualizing everything. But I just want to give a shout out to all the people that collaborated with Michael and that helped his visions come to life, because one of the things that I have come to learn as being a Michael Jackson fan is there are a lot of moving pieces, a lot of amazing people with amazing talent that help the show or the video or the concept of the song come together and be what it is finally. And Michael deserves all the credit in the world, but it's interesting just to see like who else has contributed to those types of things. So shout out to them, shout out to like Bob Giraldi, they mentioned having done Beat It. Okay, now here's another thing. Beat It was inspired by a McDonald's commercial, or like, I guess the cuts of the commercial. Now I'm interested to see what that commercial might have been by Bob Giraldi, because all this time, I mean, and I know the concept was very like West Side Story, but no one has ever mentioned this McDonald's commercial thing, and it kind of blew my mind to hear Michael talk about that. I just love this interview, you guys, and I wanted to do this because it was in 1999, it was prior to Invincible, post-history. It was at a time when, I think this is like right before Michael Jackson won that World Music, or the Millennium of the Artist of the Millennium Award at the World Music Awards, I think it was that. And he said, "You ain't seen nothing yet." And I think the world was super excited to see what was next with Michael Jackson. I think that the world was praising Michael Jackson for his achievements. I think at this point in time in 99, I think that he was on the cover of TV Guide during the same year as well. And there was a TV Guide story that covered kind of like the same topic about like the music videos and all of that, and excuse me, short films. And so I just really love hearing from Michael at this period of time, because I feel like it was such a time of like, of course, reflection on all of the amazing things that he had made happen, but also a time of hope for like an excitement for what was to come for the future. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed that. I really also would love to know what you guys have learned from this interview, if there's anything, or if there are any other interviews like this. I think it's super important for us as fans to like look at and consider interviews and content that is celebratory and educational in regards to Michael Jackson's career and his legacy. And it's really cool to hear him talk about it for once, you know? Because a lot of times you hear a lot of the collaborators telling stories and things like that now. And so also watching this, I had some thoughts in my mind like, wow, I wish that Michael was around to talk to us about some other parts of his career like this, because this is one of the few interviews where really they focus just on the music. And so, well, not just the music, but the music and the videos. And so I just am very grateful for something like this, and I'm grateful for the HD version. A shout out to the YouTuber down below. I'll be linking his or her original video if you guys would like to see it without any of my commentary. And until next time, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. If you're looking for more content like this is the best place to find it, okay? MJ Fangirl TV, I upload weekly content. Usually they're reaction videos or merchandise hauls, sometimes event vlogs, sometimes topical videos where I discuss certain topics or parts of Michael Jackson history. So if you're a fan, or if you're a new fan, or if you're just someone casual looking to learn more about Michael Jackson and celebrate more of his legacy, I hope that you guys will join us. Press that subscribe button down below and also hit the notification bell. Anyway, I hope to see you guys soon, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.